On October 7, 2025, the heart of downtown Boston became the stage for a major protest, drawing national attention. The demonstration was organized by Students for Justice in Palestine, a group known for its activism and passionate calls for change. Hundreds of people, from students to local residents, gathered in the city center, their voices echoing through the streets. The protest marked the 2-year anniversary of a significant Hamas attack, a date that resonated deeply with many in attendance. Banners and signs referencing the ongoing conflict in the Middle East were held high, as demonstrators marched in solidarity with those affected overseas. What began as a peaceful gathering of around 200 to 300 people soon took a dramatic turn. The atmosphere shifted as the crowd grew more energized, and the presence of law enforcement became increasingly visible. Police officers formed lines and positioned vehicles nearby, preparing for any escalation. Demonstrators filled the streets with passionate chants and bold signs, their energy blurring the line between peaceful assembly and unrest. The intensity of their voices reflected the depth of their convictions, but also hinted at the potential for conflict. Hostile slogans directed at law enforcement began to ring out, fueling tensions on both sides. The atmosphere grew more charged, as confrontations between protesters and police seemed increasingly likely. As the protest moved through the city, the dynamic between demonstrators and police became more strained. Officers in riot gear pushed back against the crowd, and the situation demanded a more forceful response from authorities to maintain order. What started as a march for remembrance and solidarity ultimately shifted into a direct challenge to public order, leaving a lasting impact on the city and all those who witnessed the events unfold. The protest, which began as a peaceful demonstration, quickly spiraled out of control as tensions rose between the crowd and law enforcement. Demonstrators surrounded police cruisers, kicking and striking the vehicles in a show of anger and frustration. The atmosphere shifted from one of collective purpose to one of chaos, as the crowd's energy became increasingly volatile. This sudden aggression marked a dramatic shift from protest to riot. Some individuals began assaulting officers, throwing objects, and physically confronting them, which only escalated the situation further. The line between protester and rioter blurred as the city streets erupted into violence, making it difficult for police to maintain order. Several officers were injured in the chaos, including one who suffered a broken nose. These injuries highlighted the targeted nature of the violence, as law enforcement became the focus of the crowd's anger. Emergency medical teams rushed in to provide aid, underscoring the seriousness of the situation. Amid the turmoil, rioters damaged essential police equipment, including radios and protective gear. This not only disrupted police operations, but also made it harder for officers to communicate and coordinate their response, further obscuring their actions and intentions. The deliberate destruction of body cameras and radios revealed a calculated effort to sow chaos and prevent accountability. By targeting these devices, rioters aimed to erase evidence and hinder any investigation into the night's events. The scene rapidly transformed from a civic demonstration into a violent mob, with protesters and police locked in a tense and dangerous standoff. The intensity of the confrontation left both sides on edge, as the situation threatened to spiral even further out of control. The aftermath was stark: injuries to both police and protesters, widespread property damage, and a city left reeling. These events underscored just how quickly a protest can devolve into a full-scale riot, leaving lasting scars on the community. Ultimately, the actions of a few individuals were enough to turn a public gathering into a dangerous confrontation, changing the course of the demonstration and leaving a lasting impact on everyone involved. In response to the escalating violence and unrest, Boston police rapidly deployed additional units throughout the city. Officers in riot gear moved in to reinforce their presence, aiming to restore order and ensure public safety as tensions mounted on the streets. Their primary objective was to regain control of the situation and make targeted arrests of those believed to be instigating or participating in criminal acts during the protests. Arrests focused on individuals engaged in violent behavior, such as assaults on officers, destruction of property, and acts of vandalism that left several storefronts damaged. On October 9th, after reviewing the events and evidence, charges against 13 demonstrators were upgraded from misdemeanors to felony promotion of anarchy, a serious escalation in legal consequences. This decision came after authorities conducted a thorough review of evidence, including protest materials and flyers that were distributed before and during the demonstrations, many of which contained inflammatory language and imagery. Posters prominently featuring a burning police cruiser were interpreted by officials as a direct call to violence, crossing the line from protected speech into incitement and criminal conduct. The district attorney's office held a press conference to clarify the distinction between lawful protest and incitement to violence, emphasizing that while peaceful protest is protected, encouraging or organizing violent acts is not. The upgraded felony charges reflected law enforcement's and prosecutors' view of the incident as a premeditated effort to incite chaos and disrupt public order, sending a strong message about the legal consequences of such actions. 13 individuals arrested face serious felony charges with ages ranging from 19 to 28. Bail was set based on the severity of alleged crimes, ranging from $500 to $10,000. Osama El-Khatib, accused of punching officers, had bail set at $10,000. Roder Atwood, linked to breaking an officer's nose, also faced high bail. The legal process is underway, with defendants answering for their actions during the riot. DA Kevin Hayden stated the defendants were charged for crimes, not protest. The city respects free speech but will not tolerate actions endangering public safety. The Boston events highlight the boundary between peaceful protest and criminal rioting. When demonstrations turn violent, they cross into criminal acts with severe consequences. Law enforcement faces challenges in managing volatile protests while ensuring community safety. Inflammatory materials complicate situations, signaling intent for confrontation. The Boston riot teaches the importance of responsible civic engagement. Organizers bear responsibility for the nature of events they promote. The right to protest must be balanced with the responsibility to maintain public safety.